when we talk about the GOAT debate, Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, we usually break it down to ring stats, dominance, and longevity. There's one element almost nobody talks about: rivals. Every great player has been defined not just by what they did, but who they went against to do it. The truth is, the landscape of rivals and rivalry is one of the biggest yet most overlooked points in the entire conversation. And that's how we break it down. It's not just by resumes, not just by dominance, not by statistics, longevity, etc. The rivalries are a big overlooked part of the GOAT debate. LeBron fans say Michael Jordan had no rivals. The fuck out of here, man. So we're gonna review here today. Jordan didn't just play basketball. He conquered fucking legends and Magic, Bird, Isaiah, Ewing, Malone, Stock, etc. Just to name a few. Shaq, Barkley, Clyde, Shaq, Barkley, Clyde, Reggie. Like that's his legendary comp. And Jordan didn't, like I said, before he used his first three-point, he had to fight through the bad boy Pistons, one of the toughest dynasties, not just the '80s, late '80s, but in entire NBA history, entire sports history. He battled Larry Bird's Celtics, who eliminated him even earlier in his career, in the mid '80s. He went head-to-head with prime Magic, second in MVP voting Magic, and Magic just came off of the MVP the year before '90. In the '91 finals, and took down other guys like I mentioned before: Clyde, Barkley, Chuck, Malone, Stockton, Chuck, all Hall of Famers at their peak, or all Hall of Famers who were playing at their peak. Jordan's story is written against the backdrop of great rivals and rivalries. Every time, 95% of the time, he came out on top. LeBron's rivals look a little different. Early on, he faced the Big Three Celtics: Pierce, KD, Ray, and Rondo when he was young, who they formed so they could all win a ring, especially, like I said, the first three. Rondo mostly became a member of the Big Four or Big Three, whatever you want to call it, later on, like from 09-ish on, 09, 2010 on. 09, 10. He clashed with Tim Duncan's Spurs Dynasty, who beat him twice in the finals. Then came the Warriors Dynasty with Steph, Clay, Draymond, and KD. And then KD left, but KD and LeBron faced in the finals 3 times, so that still counts a lot, especially in the grand scheme of things. These weren't just rivals; they were dynasties stacked with all-stars, 4 all-stars on one team. Even the Hawks did 1 or 2. Even the Pistons did 1 or 2. That's LeBron. That was LeBron's comp. But unlike MJ, who stood above his peers, LeBron's career has often been defined by teams that were loaded beyond what a single super second match. So he stacked the deck. LeBron still didn't win as much as MJ. And to be fair, the Cavs did not do very great at building a team around LeBron. I mean, people like to say the Sixers wins. That was because of LeBron. So whatever they did, whether they won or lost, you could either praise LeBron or you could either blame LeBron for it. He's either going to take the accountability or take the credit. Either way, it can't be either or. It's going to have to be both. But yeah, and this is a key point. This is another key point where we look. The nature of rivals change. Jordan, MJ faced legendary individuals in comp, leading good to great teams, while LeBron faced super teams. When he lost the Warriors in 2017, 2018, he was essentially battling for Hall of Famers. In their primes. In Jordan's era, MJ's era, rivals were more spread out. Every superstar had his own team, and it was more so 2 superstars and shooters spread out. That's pretty much how '90s basketball was. That's why I say the '90s, the Lakers, the very early 2000 Lakers, Shaq and Kobe were a replicate of '90s basketball. They had Phil Jackson, they had the triangle offense, they had the 2-star players and the shooters like that. That's how that era ball was built. And to be fair, they kind of were a '90s 2000 hybrid team, to be honest too. But LeBron's era, this could be due to LeBron, this could be due to MJ, but player empowerment, players leaving players demanding out. Like that became a even bigger thing, aka stacking the deck, as some older people say. Stars started to consolidate. That changes how we look at their records because the competitive landscape wasn't the same. Just what rivalries shape legacies. Okay, MJ's undefeated finals record is made even more impressive because of the names attached to it. Okay, LeBron's finals losses, on the other hand, can be seen through the lens of who he was up against. Yes, he's 4-6 to the finals, but context matters. Three of those losses came to arguably the greatest team ever seen from State, another all-time team in the Spurs. I mean, going against even the Celtics, few years, the Pistons, Nuggets, like that's who LeBron faced to get there. Talking about teams, even Miami, I already mentioned Detroit. You know, New Jersey was young early on too, but New Jersey was early on in LeBron's career too, but still, even Grizzlies, like yeah. But like I said, three of those losses came to early go team. So you can't really blame LeBron. I don't really do that either. But I mean, if Jordan faced a dynasty that style, would his record still be perfect? We'll never know, but it's worth asking. Just what it just is. It is 100% fucking worth asking. All right, it just is. We don't know how he would face against super teams. But once again, in a weaker conference, that's the overlook point. Greatness doesn't exist in a vacuum, and we can't just compare stats and trophies without considering the rivalries that tested these players. Jordan's greatness, MJ's greatness, was defined by beating legends one by one, submitting his fucking dominance. LeBron's greatness is defined by surviving in an era of super teams, carrying undermanned rosters against overwhelming odds, competition, etc. MJ's resume, etc. Two different eras, two different sets of rivals, two different challenges, and we all know that is stratosphere of the GOAT debate. That should be how most people look at it. That changes how we all should see the greatest of all time called the GOAT debate. That's just how it is because they each have their own individual case. Like I stated before, sometimes I even have it. I even made some points in another video. I even have my own criteria to why MJ is over LeBron, and many reasons are. But once again, back on topic, with the topic on rivals, yeah, I'd probably say MJ has slightly better rivals. Now, top heavy is tough, but it's close, but still. So when people argue Jordan versus LeBron, remember this: the debate just isn't about who scored more, who won more titles, rings, chips, MVPs, Finals MVPs, championships, or who lasted longer. It's about who they went up against. Jordan had rivals and he beat them all, especially in his prime. LeBron had rivals and he faced dynasty stack like no player before. So that's the issue about the GOAT debate. Their careers are so diverse it's impossible to compare. So what you value and how consistent you are, in my opinion, matters the most. Alright, so that's the piece of the GOAT debate we rarely talk about. But it might just be the key to understanding it, because in the end, greatness is not just about what you achieve. It's about who you achieved against, your legacy, how well you played on both ends of the ball, your resume, your peak, etc. Those are all things that matter. I just think MJ, when it comes to tougher comp, we just face different comp. LeBron. I guess you could argue in terms of top heavy talent, LeBron also fared well, but he just didn't beat him.